In 2006, a rivalry was born that would redefine the history of tennis. Rafael Nadal, the relentless warrior of clay, and Novak Djokovic, the rising star with unmatched resilience, collided on the biggest stages. Their head-to-head would become the most balanced and fiercely contested rivalry the sport has ever seen. Djokovic leading with 31 wins, Nadal with 29. But this was not just about numbers. It was about two contrasting styles, two mindsets, two legacies constantly colliding. When Djokovic first entered the top 10, Nadal was already the king of Roland Garros, the player who had dethroned Federer on clay and looked nearly untouchable. Their first real battles showed the difference in their games. Nadal, with his heavy top-spin forehand, grinding rallies, and incredible defense, was the immovable wall. Djokovic, however, was not intimidated. His backhand was already one of the best in the world, and his ability to absorb Nadal's power hinted at what was to come. From the very beginning, their matches were long, physical, and unpredictable. The tennis world could sense this was not a rivalry that would fade. By 2011, everything changed. Djokovic reached his peak, starting the season with one of the greatest runs in tennis history. He beat Nadal in 6 consecutive finals, on every surface, hard courts, grass, and even clay. For the first time, Nadal looked vulnerable. This period marked a turning point. Djokovic had solved the puzzle of Nadal's game. His precision from the baseline, his unmatched flexibility, and his mental strength gave him the edge. Nadal himself admitted, "I tried everything, but he was simply better." Yet Nadal would not surrender his kingdom. Roland Garros remained his fortress. Even during Djokovic's dominance, Nadal defended Paris with an iron will. Their matches there became legendary. The 2012 Roland Garros final was a marathon of rain delays and momentum shifts, with Nadal eventually prevailing. But in 2015, Djokovic finally broke through, defeating Nadal on court Philippe Chatrier, one of the rarest achievements in tennis history. That victory was a statement. Even on clay, Djokovic could conquer the king. Their rivalry was not defined by one surface or one moment. It stretched across every stage, from the burning heat of the Australian Open to the sacred grass of Wimbledon. The 2012 Australian Open final remains one of the greatest matches ever played. Nearly 6 hours of brutal tennis where both men pushed the limits of human endurance. Djokovic collapsed on the court in exhaustion, but as the winner, Nadal, equally drained, could only smile in disbelief at what they had just endured. That night was not just a match, it was a war of attrition, a testament to their willpower. Wimbledon also gave us unforgettable chapters. In 2018, they played a semifinal spread over 2 days, with Djokovic edging Nadal in a thriller that ended 10-8 in the 5th set. It was not just about who played better tennis, it was about who could survive longer. What made their rivalry so unique was how different they were. Nadal, the emotional fighter, wearing his heart on his sleeve, thriving on intensity. Djokovic, the ice-cold strategist, capable of turning defense into offense with surgical precision. Every time they stepped on court, it was a clash of philosophies, passion versus calculation, brute force versus flexibility, tradition versus reinvention. Across the years, momentum swung back and forth. Nadal had the upper hand in Paris. Djokovic dominated in Melbourne. Nadal's fighting spirit kept him in matches that seemed lost, while Djokovic's mental steel allowed him to silence hostile crowds and come back from the brink. By the end, the numbers told only part of the story. 59 matches played, Djokovic leading 31-29, the narrowest margin at the very top of tennis. But behind those numbers lies more than a rivalry. It is a saga that defined an era. When people look back at the golden age of tennis, the Nadal-Djokovic rivalry stands at the center. Federer may have been the artist, But Nadal and Djokovic were the warriors who turned every encounter into a battle of survival. Their matches inspired millions, tested the limits of the human body, and pushed tennis into a new dimension of physicality and drama. And perhaps the greatest testament to this rivalry is not who won more, but how both men brought the best out of each other. Without Nadal, Djokovic might not have become the machine we know today. Without Djokovic, Nadal's dominance might never have been challenged so fiercely. In the end, 31 wins for Djokovic, 29 for Nadal, but the true victory is shared. Together, they created a story that fans will tell for generations, a story of sweat, pain, triumph, and respect. Because the rivalry between Rafael Nadal and Novak Djokovic was never just about tennis. It was about greatness itself, and the two men who defined it